Welcome to Allodic Ventures. My name is Ed, and it's been about 3 weeks since I've come back from Minsk, and I just want to share with you the top 10 reasons why I'm going back to Minsk, Belarus, and why you should visit as well. Okay, let's get going here. So, number 10, Minsk is exceptionally clean. You will not, it's probably the cleanest city I've ever seen. You will not see trash on the ground, and I think the reason why is because Belarusians take pride in their country, their city, their neighborhood. They're not going to litter, right? So they're not going to, unwrap a piece of gum, put the gum in their mouth, crinkle up the wrapper, and throw it on the ground or on the street. They're not going to do that, right? And they also, there's babushkas or older women. I've seen them. I think they're city workers. They actually every morning they pick up what trash is on the ground on a daily basis. So very clean city, very clean city. Number 9, there are no homeless people. I've been there 4 times to Minsk, and I have not once seen a single homeless people. There might be, I don't know, but I haven't seen them. I lived in San Francisco, and literally when I got off the commuter bus to walk to my office on 3rd Street, I had to step over dozens of homeless people that are sleeping, and right by their head was a hypodermic needle. So huge contrast. Homeless does not exist in Minsk. Number 8, Minsk is a very safe city, and actually a very quiet city or calm city. Rule of law is very strong in Belarus, specifically Minsk, Belarus. People don't even jaywalk, right? They will wait for the green light to say walk. They will not jaywalk. And how they differentiate, if they see someone jaywalk, it's probably a tourist or some foreigner or someone from another country. So yes, rule of law is very strong. Matter of fact, there's only been 62 deaths or murders in 2021 in the whole country of Belarus. And if you want to compare that, in Chicago, there's over 800 murders or homicides in the year 2021. So, Minsk is very safe. Number 7, Minsk is one of the greenest cities in the entire Europe. They have 3 major parks where the trees are very, very dense. They have a 42-kilometer waterway that goes through the city of Minsk, and it's lined up with trees. So if you're looking, it does have a lot of cement. All their buildings are basically made out of cement, but there are a lot of trees. There's also it's a land of lakes. There's thousands of lakes, and they're all surrounded with trees. So Minsk, Belarus in general, very green. Number 6, the architecture is amazing, absolutely amazing. So during World War II, the Nazis invaded the Soviet Union on the way to Moscow, and they destroyed about 80% of the city. So when World War II was over and the Germans lost, they had the Germans come in and rebuild the city. And of course, they built it in Soviet Union architecture style. So if you like Soviet Union architecture, come to Minsk. Also, if you go down to Old Town, it does have Belarusian style architecture. So you have best of both worlds. There you go. Okay, number 5. Belarusians are very kind people, very nice people. If you're walking down the street and they seem very unapproachable, which, they don't walk up to strangers, so they'll have a very stern look. If you walk up to them, you think they're gonna rip your head off. But once you start talking to them, and after about a few back and forth, then they lighten up, and then they start smiling, and then they're just beautiful people. So yeah. For example, I ordered a sandwich. It was kind of like a Subway, but it was a Belarusian style Subway. And I ordered a sandwich, and while I was waiting, so someone in the back kept going, hey, hey, and then I realized that my light was on my phone. So they're trying to tell me to turn my light off, which I think in the U.S. no one would have said anything. No one would have said anything. And then when I went to go purchase the sandwich, the girl behind the counter said, a moment, she took the sandwich, she took it to the side and got a red pen and drew a heart and then gave it to me. And I don't think she was hitting on me or anything like that. She's probably 17. I could be her father. But she's just very, very kind people. And that's what I've noticed. Okay, number 4, reason why I'm going back to Minsk, the prices. So, for example, if you're going out to a bar, typically a beer is around $2, right? If you're going to get a burger at a high-end restaurant, you're going to probably pay around $7 to $10 for that burger. Where in the States, especially here in New England, it's minimum $18 for that burger. And some of the other restaurants, they're going to be charging like $22, $23. Very expensive for just a burger. Also the rent. There's different levels of housing that you can get there. I mean, if you wanted, you could spend only $100. You can get a studio. It'd be like this old Soviet Union apartment. Not even Soviet Union, just very small apartment. Like $100, $125. If you want to have a good standard of living, I'd say you'd have to spend at least $400 to get a typical apartment they're used to, like say in the States. Now, if you want to get a high-end apartment, I mean, you can pay as much as $2,000, $2,500 per month. But I think if you want a high-end apartment, I think you can get away with $800 to $1,000 a month. For example, here I have a loft. I was paying $1,900, but since inflation, the new lease, now I'm paying $2,600. This loft I could probably get for around $800 to $1,000 in Minsk. So I love the prices. Number 3, Belarusian cuisine. I think it's very tasty. I mean, of course, they have their fast food, and a lot of the young people eat that. But the Belarusian cuisine, I think, is very good for you and very tasty. And here's why. I don't think they put the hormones in there and the steroids into the animals. They're not doing GMO. Everything's naturally grown. I mean, they might have some pesticides, but not the chemicals that we have here in the States. So the Belarusian cuisine, so basically it's pork, it's chicken, but they also have like borscht, like soups, which are very good. But their national food is a thing called draniki, and draniki is their national recipe for potatoes, right? So basically they'll grate a potato, they'll cut up some onions, they'll put 1 egg in there, and then they'll put some pork fat in it, and then what they'll do is they'll make pancakes out of it and fry them. And Belarusians pretty much eat draniki with every meal. Not every meal, but I'm thinking they eat it most days. Especially if they have a big family dinner, they're going to be having draniki. So yes, I like the Belarusian food. People say it's fattening. I don't think so. I mean, if you eat a lot of draniki with the potatoes, yes, but the soups, the meats, it's low in carbs. Actually, when I come back, like if I'm there for like a week or two, and I eat all the Belarusian food, and I come back, I've gained 1 pound, right? And I eat and drink, more than normal, right? If I was here in the States, so I think it's good for you. There you go. Number two reason why I'm going back to Minsk. So it's the nightlife. Nightlife there is incredible. They have Zabitska district, which is all the bars and restaurants that are in Old Town. And then they also have October district, or Oktoberskaya. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but people that live from Belarus, they understand what I'm saying. So there's two areas. October district, it's typically a lot of young kids, more of the hipsters, right? They're like 20, 21, in the professional world, they got a little bit of money, and they like to hang out there. But the Zabitska district is probably the epicenter of the nightlife, and there's lots of bars, lots of restaurants, for any kind of age that you are. One of my favorites is Ghosty Restaurant, because it's more 30 and above, and just a really good atmosphere. It's got food, it's a regular restaurant. Then there's a live band that comes, and then there's dancing. I believe they stay open till 5 in the morning. So very, very good nightlife in Minsk. Highly recommend it. Okay, the number one reason why I'm going back to Minsk. Okay, you know what I'm going to say? The women. The women are probably the most beautiful in the world. I mean, we all know, like, the Russian girls, Russian women, they're supposed to be like the hottest, right? Belarusian women are on par with Russian, basically because they have the same ethnicity. They basically are Russian, right? But the only difference is they're just a lot nicer. They're a lot nicer than the Russian girls. And I've heard this like the Russian men from Moscow that work and have a little bit of money, they go to Minsk to meet a wife, right? Because they're nicer. They're not like the Moscow women, right? Little hard, little tougher. But anyways, yeah. So definitely the women. I mean, you could be walking down the street, and you walk by this bus stop, and you'll see like a supermodel, and again, they're very approachable, even though you don't think they are, because they're not smiling. But once you walk up to them and you say a few words, then they loosen up and they smile. Then it's okay. So yes, definitely the women. All right. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, ciao.